If a human ever pressed an ear against the humming dryer in apartment 4B, they would not hear the expected soft thump of tumbling towels. They would hear, provided they had the correct kind of imagination, a war council in progress. Order! Order in the sock drawer! Chamber! Barked Major Argyle, who, despite a distinguished diamond-patterned exterior, possessed the temperament of an over-caffeinated drill sergeant. He stomped a heel against a lone tennis ball that had rolled in from the last cycle and used it as a podium. Around him, a motley circle of single socks crowded the metal floor, some sagging, some stained, all aggrieved. Beside the Major stood Lacey Susan, an elegant knee-high whose frills had once attended spring picnics, but now drooped like overcooked spaghetti. Next to her lounged Chad, the gym sock that refused to leave his sweatband rolled down. And on the fringe hovered a terrified baby sock with dancing giraffes knitted across its cuff. In the back, Grandpa Wolford, a thick hiking sock, seasoned by decades of blisters, leaned on a coiled dryer sheet cane, chuckling through lint-clogged stitches. Argyle wrapped the tennis ball again. Fellow singles, you know why we're here. Every laundry day we lose more comrades. The portal of perpetual tumble, known to humans as the gap between drum and seal, has swallowed us, spat us here, in this accursed dryer dimension, and left us forever unmatched. Well, no more. Tonight we stage Operation Paradise, a daring escape back to the land of folded laundry. Chad stretched, cracking imaginary knuckles. Sounds rad, bro. But, how exactly? That flap door only opens when the humans unload. We're out of sight, out of sock mind. Lacey Susan fluttered her frills. We can't just wander out. Static storms, lint quakes, and don't forget the Klingons! At the mention of Klingons, ferocious fuzzballs armed with hair-clipped spears, the baby sock whimpered, emitting a feeble squeak. Grandpa Wolford patted the little cuff. Hush, Sprout! We've beaten worse. I once dodged a stiletto in '92. Argyle cleared his throat. Intel from Scout Miss Toe, may her cotton rest, revealed a structural weakness. During the delicate cycle, the human lifts the lint trap guard. For 23 seconds, the slipstream tunnel aligns with the basket chute. We ride that air current straight home. A hush fell. 23 seconds sounded both impossibly short and tantalizingly enough. Chad pumped his heel. Dude, that's basically a halftime sprint. Susan sighed. Except, we're socks, not track stars. We need propulsion. Argyle pointed to a laundry clip diagram sketched in lint on the drum wall. We build the catapult of elastic destiny. We've gathered rubber bands from the pocket dimension of hoodies, tension them across the agitator's fins, load ourselves and, whoosh, we're airborne. We must launch in waves, light colors, darks, and our VIP cargo. Sprout! Sprout blinked wide-stitched eyes. VIP! Grandpa smiled. First baby sock to make it out carries hope for an entire generation! Sprout gulped like a cotton raisin. Planning commenced. The socks scavenged supplies. Bobby pins became locking gears. A rogue shoelace transformed into a winch. And a half-melted crayon served as wax to ease friction. Chad bench-pressed buttons for strength training, while Susan orchestrated rehearsal pirouettes to perfect aerial posture. Even the usually sarcastic dryer door watched, squeaking approvingly on its hinge. One obstacle remained, the lint golem. Every other spin cycle, stray fibers merged into a towering monster that patrolled the vent mouth, its eyes glowing static blue. To reach the slipstream, the socks needed to distract it. That's where Grandpa comes in, Argyle announced. Wolford raised a tufted brow. Old soldier, new trick. You'll bait the golem with tales of winter hikes! Your wool content registers as catnip to that dusty brute! Grandpa cackled. Flattery by felting. I love it. Launch Eve arrived. The dryer realm trembled as the normal load finished overhead, rattling dust from black hole crevices. Argyle called final roll. Out of habit, half the socks replied with present, and the other half answered with existential sighs. Team morale hovered between wrung out and threadbare. Lights dimmed as the human, Miss Delgado, padded in. Through the sky portal of the door window, Socks saw her open the lint trap, pluck out a wad and mutter, "How do I always lose the left one?" She shoved the guard back without looking. It clicked, misaligned. Perfect! Their 23-second opening now had an extra 4 seconds. A gift of careless housekeeping. As drums above grumbled into delicates, the catapult of elastic destiny stood ready. 3 rubber band cords stretched taut across the agitator, anchored to a bra underwire. Chad flexed. Strap in, broskins. Wave 1. Light colors climbed the loading platform fashioned from a bent spatula. Argyle saluted. For socks and country! He fired the release. Whap! The rubber bands snapped them through the vent. Socks sailed, screaming war cries mixed with laundry symbols. Machine wash cold! Do not bleach! They vanished toward the slipstream. Immediately alarms shrieked. Well, squeaked. The lint golem awakened, its shaggy husk quivering. Static bolts fired, zapping Susan's ruffles. Grandpa Wolford waddled forward, cane twirling. Hey, Dust Bunny! Ever climbed Kilimanjaro? He launched into an epic yarn about frostbite and thermals. The golem, mesmerized, leaned down, fibers drooling. Grandpa tossed him a strip of wool shed from his own heel. The golem sniffed, blissful, forgetting everything else. Wave 2, docks, took position. Chad chest bumped the air. Let's dunk on gravity! Whap! Off they soared. A stray bolt singed a checkerboard toe, but the batch cleared the vent. Only Sprout and Grandpa remained. The catapult had lost tension after 2 launches. Rubber bands sagged like noodles in a sauna. Argyle's muffled voice floated back on the breeze. We're through. Statics rising. 5 seconds. Sprout shivered. Grandpa eyeballed the droopy rig. We need Plan B. He spun his cane, snagging a stray dryer sheet. Rolling it into a barrel, he fashioned a makeshift windboard. Hop on, kid. But, no buts, only butts. Plant yours. He wedged the cane as mast, snapped a bobby pin as rudder, and waited. A gust from the delicate cycle puffed through the vent. Grandpa shoved off. They surfed the aromatic breeze like pirates on a fabric-softened sea. The lint golem, finishing its wool snack, roared in belated fury. It hurled static orbs. One grazed the windboard, scorching a giraffe. Sprout squealed. Grandpa steered left, right, executing a barrel roll that would impress Red Bull. The slipstream shimmered ahead, a silver funnel of cool air connecting dryer dimension to reality. Suddenly, the dryer hiccuped, a rogue thud. The funnel shuddered, narrowing. Sprout saw light colors and darks clinging to a rag pile at the exit, beckoning. Come on. Grandpa frowned. We're too heavy. He scanned Sprout's tiny weave, then his own bulky wool. Understanding dawned. He thrust the cane into Sprout's cuff. Take the mast. Ride the gust. Tell them Grandpa Wolford saw the mountains again. Wait! You're coming! Kid, I've been mildewed, darned, and retired. My thread's frayed. You're still fresh from the gift registry. With a heroic grunt, Grandpa kicked the board's edge, catapulting Sprout into the slipstream's throat. The baby sock tumbled end over cuff, squealing a mixture of terror and exhilaration. Behind, Grandpa spun away, saluting with his dryer sheet cane, as static lightning silhouetted him like some woolly Zeus. Sprout rocketed into the cluster of waiting socks. Argyle grabbed the tiny cuff. Chad braced. "We've got you!" All at once, gravity reasserted itself. The slipstream reversed, spitting them through the lint trap guard just as Miss Delgado reached in. Socks poured in a colorful waterfall, landing smack in the clean clothes basket at her feet. To a human, 34 unmatched socks erupting from nowhere looked like magic or madness. Miss Delgado chose madness! She screamed, tripped over the detergent and fled, phone in hand, yelling about poltergeists. Silence. The socks lay scattered among crisp t-shirts, dizzy but alive. Argyle stood, chest puffed. Operation Paradise! Success! Cheers erupted. Susan adjusted frills, now artsy burn marks included. Chad fist-bumped everyone until static popped like popcorn. Sprout peeked over the basket rim. "Where's Grandpa?" Heads bowed. Argyle removed his imaginary cap. He fell in the line of laundry. A ripple of grief rustled through the basket, followed by Chad's sniff. Legend! Yet grief did not linger long. They were free, in the human realm again. But freedom raised new issues. Susan voiced the obvious. "We're still singles. Humans will just toss us back in, mismatched as ever." Argyle stroked his cuff. "Not if we preemptively pair ourselves. We'll found the Coalition of Complementary, Not Identical Sockdom. Call it CCNS for short, pronounced sneeze. We mix, match, and embrace individuality." Chad grinned. "I always wanted a fancy partner." He winked at Susan's frills. She blushed a new shade of pastel. Sprout tugged Argyle's thread. "But what if humans notice Grandpa's not with us?" Argyle softened. "Then we'll honor him the only way socks know, by refusing to be lost again." Across the room, the living room vent rattled. A puff of lint drifted out, twinkling static sparks. Within it, they swore they heard a chuckle. Grandpa Wolford's voice whispered, "Mind the blisters, kids." Chad wiped a pretend tear with a heel. "That's our woolly Yoda!" Minutes later, Miss Delgado tiptoed back. "Boyfriend in tow for backup!" She poked the basket with a broom. Nothing moved. On her frequency, seeing a random assortment of socks cuddling peacefully, she muttered, "I must have overbleached my brain," and gathered them for folding. The socks implemented CCNIS at once. Argyle hopped beside Susan. Chad shimmied to a glitter ankle sock. Sprout nestled into a palm-sized mitten, improvising. Confused, but amused, Miss Delgado shrugged. "Fine, avant-garde fashion it is." She paired them as they wished, and placed the new sets in the drawer. Night fell, drawer lights dimmed. The socks, heartbeats slowing to the gentle purr of city traffic, savored victory. Susan hummed. Chad dozed. Sprout dreamt of Grandpa surfing clouds of cedar-scented air. Argyle remained awake, staring at the slight crack of the drawer. Somewhere beyond, dryers tumbled, portals awaited, and lost socks yearned for rescue. He knew their mission wasn't over. "Tomorrow," he whispered, "we mount Operation Search and Rescue." He added the extra Q for stylistic flourish. Then he smiled, finally allowing his elastic to relax for the first time in infinity cycles. In the vent above the laundry room, a scruffy outline of wool watched, cane in hand, and tipped an invisible hat.